right? Students, in the past few lectures we are learning with capacitors KVL and KCL. In the yesterday's lecture also we have learned Kirchhoff laws and one or two applications we have discussed in the previous lecture. Now coming to the same part, we will solve some more problems in today's lecture. Now there is one question displayed on the screen. You are supposed to find out charge on each capacitor. You should find out charge on each capacitor. And here we have batteries. In the last two problems which we have learned, there were no batteries. Capacitors are initially charged and those capacitors are connected with each other so that redistribution of charge only takes place. But in this problem, batteries are already connected. So here charge redistribution does not take from the capacitors. You are now connecting the battery for individual capacitors. That's the reason why, because of those batteries, charge get transferred from one plate to the other plate because of those potentials. Now when you are connecting these all capacitors with batteries, now what will be the final charge distributed on each capacitor? That's what you are supposed to find out. Now I'll teach you this problem in very simple way. Whenever you are getting this kind of question, first identify batteries. Wherever batteries are there, you identify them, and at that particular points you just mark some potentials, right? See, here is battery 20 volt. For positive plate, take plus 20. This is positive terminal, it is plus 20. And for negative, it is 0. So if this battery is providing 20 voltage, it means that positive terminal has plus 20 volt, negative terminal has 0. Total potential difference will be equal to 20 minus 0, that is 20, right? So this is first battery. Now coming to second battery, here is one battery, it is 10 volt. As this is 10 volt, at this point it will have some potential which is plus 10 volt, and at this point it will be 0, right? Okay, so you have identified the batteries. There is one more battery over here, this is 5 volt, and right side at this point, because it is connected to positive terminal, this is plus 5 volt, and here it is 0. Okay, so that is first step. What you are doing, step 1, you are just identifying the batteries and marking the potentials. That is a step 1, you need to remember. And there is one more battery over here, it is 10 volt. See, already the positive terminal of the battery is connected to 0. Okay, already the positive terminal of this battery is connected to 0. Then if this is 0, then obviously at this position it should be minus 10. Okay, so greater potential here is 0, lower potential is minus 10. Therefore potential difference will be 0 minus of minus 10. 0 minus of minus 10 will be obviously 10, and charge transfer takes place from positive terminal to negative terminal across this battery. Okay, so there are 4 batteries over here. That is step 1, identify batteries and mark potentials. Next step, what you need to do is identify potential difference across each capacitor. Across each capacitor there is some potential difference, right? So identify potential difference across each capacitor, that is step 2. And step 3, apply Kirchhoff laws. So these are 3 steps which are involved over here. You can use these 3 steps to solve the problem. So first step we have successfully completed. Next step, identify potential difference across each capacitor. See, here is one capacitor. Let me mark those capacitor names so that it will become easy for you when I am teaching. This is first capacitor. Okay, and this is second capacitor, and this is third capacitor. There are three capacitors, 1, 2 and 3. Remaining all are batteries, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 are batteries and 3 are capacitors. Now across first capacitor, potential difference is 20 and 5, right? So potential difference over here for first capacitor, V1 is equal to greater potential minus smaller potential, that is 20 minus 5, which is equal to 15 volt, right? Next, coming to second one, V2 is equal to greater potential is plus 20 and smaller potential is minus 10. So potential difference will be 20 minus of minus 10, which is equal to 30 volt. That is second potential difference. And across this third one, potential difference across this third capacitor will be greater potential is 20, smaller potential is plus 10. It is 20 minus 10. This is equal to 10 volt. We have got potentials across each capacitor. What you are supposed to find out the charge on each capacitor. You can find out now charge on each capacitor, right? Q1, charge on the first capacitor will be equal to 2 microfarad into its potential difference, that is 15, which is equal to 30 microcoulomb. Charge on the second capacitor Q2 will be equal to, what is Q2? It is 2 microfarad into, what is its potential difference? 30. This is equal to 60 microcoulomb. Next, what about third one? Q3. Charge on the third one, it will be, how much is its capacity? Capacity is 4 microfarad. That is 4 microfarad into, what is its potential difference? 10. This is equal to 40 microcoulomb, right? This is how you can find out charge across first capacitor, second capacitor and third capacitor. It's very simple technique. Okay, or else this is one way. You can find out the potential difference and you can calculate the charges across each individual capacitor. You will be getting final charge over there. Okay, so it's very simple and very easy. Now if you are going for Kirchhoff rule, here it is 20 volt. As greater voltage is 20 volt, from this 20 volt there will be some charge transferred, right? So that charge transferred, let it be Q1. Okay, so charge entering into this point, like let me name this point as P. So you can use even KCL, and you can write down charge entering into node P is equal to charge leaving. Right? So if some charge Q is entering into this node P, then equal amount of charge will be leaving from there. Okay, so now I can mark those charges. I'll simply denote it with names, like let me consider this is Q1 and let me consider this is Q2 and let me consider this is Q3. Okay, I can write Q1 plus Q2 minus Q3 is equal to 0. But what is Q1? Q1 is equal to C into V, right? So that is C1 into delta V1 plus C2 into delta V2 minus C3 into delta V3. This is equal to 0, right? So whenever you are to find out charges, directly you can use potential difference and capacity, and you can find out these charges. If at all potential is not being given to you, like here it is mentioned 20 volt, sometimes they will not give you potential at that point. 20 volt will not be given. In such cases, we will be using Kirchhoff laws, and first we will be identifying that voltage. So after identifying the voltage at that particular point, we can use this same formula, Q is equal to C into delta V. From that you can find out the charges, right? So finally, these are the three steps which are involved in solving these kind of problems. Whenever you want to find out charge on individual capacitors, simply identify the batteries in the circuit, mark their potentials, and identify potential difference between two plates of the capacitors. and then you can find out the charges using the formula Q is equal to CV. Sometimes if potential is not being given to you at any one particular node, potential will not be given to you. In such cases, you will be using Kirchhoff laws, and we will be writing an equation. From that you can find out the voltage, unknown voltage you can find out. After finding unknown voltage, you can use Q is equal to CV formula over there across each capacitor. You will be getting the net charges at that particular points. We have one more problem. You need to find out the charge on each capacitor after redistribution of the charge. So step 1, you need to identify the batteries. Now I am identifying the battery. This point, it is plus 30 volt, and this point I am considering it as 0. It is the greatest potential of all the three batteries. This is 30, plus 30 and 0. Next, this is one more battery. Here it is already positive terminal of 25 volt is connected to 0. Therefore this will be 0, and obviously this become minus 25. Next, the third one, for this battery it is plus 10 volt, and this becomes 0. Okay, now we have identified the batteries and we have written potentials of those batteries. And what is step 2? Identify the capacitors, potential difference across the capacitors you need to find out. But here we have one node. Check it up, there is one node here. In order to find out the potential difference between each capacitor, you need to know potential at this point. I name it as P. If you know potential at that point P, then only you can write down potential difference across 1 microfarad, 2 microfarad and 2 microfarad. But you do not know what is its potential. Potential is not been mentioned over there. In such cases, what you need to do? I am considering this potential as P. Because at this point P, as there is no potential, I am considering this potential as P. Okay. If this potential is P and I do not know whether that potential is greater or smaller, I do not know that. It can be greater than 10 volt, or it can be less than 25 volt, or it can be more than 30 volt. I do not know what potential it is. But remember, when we are considering that unknown potential, you take that potential as the greatest of all the potentials. So this P, I am considering it as greatest potential. That's the reason why P is greater than this 10 volt, P is greater than this plus 30 volt, P is greater than this minus 25 volt. Okay, that's one important logic you need to remember. P, I am considering it as greatest potential. Now I can write down, this is first capacitor, this is second capacitor, and this is third capacitor. This is third. 3 different capacitors we have. I can now write down charge across first capacitor Q1 is equal to 1 microfarad into, what is its potential difference? P minus 10. Charge across the second capacitor Q2 is equal to, what is its capacity? 2 microfarad into, what is its potential difference? P minus 30. Next, Q3 is equal to, what is its capacity? 2 microfarad into P minus of minus 25. Okay, these are the charges which are being accommodated on each plate. But in order to find out this charge, you need to find out the potential. Okay, for finding potential, I'll use one concept here. At this particular point, like we are imagining that this point as X. Okay, so if you observe carefully, this plate, and this plate, these 3 plates are isolated plates. These are isolated plates. As these are isolated plates, they are not connected with any other. See, there is no connection between negative and positive. This is a capacitor. Capacitor is nothing but 2 plates. There is no attachment between those 2 plates, right? So this is one plate, and this is other plate, and this is other plate. These 3 are isolated plates. They are individually connected with each other. Okay, so depending upon the charges, I am considering that there is some charge over here. It is Q1 because I am considering it as first. It will be minus Q1, and Next, what about charge here? Definitely it will be minus Q2. And what about charge over here? It is plus Q3, right? Now, for isolated capacitors, as we know, isolated capacitor plates, Q net is equal to 0. Net charge over all these plates will be equal to 0, because these all are isolated plates. Isolated plates have no connection with batteries. That's the reason why net charge, whatever net charge is there, the total charge will be equal to 0. So because of connection of these batteries, charge on these three plates get redistributed, but there is no additional charge added to them. They themselves will be redistributing the charges depending on the potential difference across those terminals. Now I'll write down Q1. Take sign convention, minus Q1, because across this plate it is negative charge, minus Q1. And next, minus Q2. And the third one, it is plus Q3 is equal to 0. What is Q1? Q1, it is minus of 1 into P minus 10. Minus of, what is Q2? Q2 is 2 into P minus 30. Plus, what is Q3? It is 2 into P plus 25. Overall, it is micro is equal to 0. This net charge is equal to 0, right? Now, this gives you minus P. Minus of minus become plus 10 minus 2P. Minus of minus will become plus 60 plus 2P plus 50 micro is equal to 0. Okay. Now solve this. It is minus P minus 2P minus 2P and plus 2P gets cancelled. What is left over here? Minus P is left over here. Next, plus 10 plus 60, 70, 70 plus 50. It is 120, and that is plus 120 is equal to 0, right? Then what will be P? P is equal to 120 volt. Am I right? Anywhere did I make a mistake in the sign conventions? If I make a mistake in the sign convention, then final answer you will be getting wrong. So you should be careful with that. I think somewhere I am making mistake. We need to cross check. Let me cross check that. Let us go for Kirchhoff law. I'll write down equation from here itself. We are considering that this potential at E as X. And I already told you, like, don't make it complicated. This I am considering it as P. As I already told you, P is the greater potential. So therefore, I'll write this equation as charge over here. Charge over here will be Q1, that is C into, what is the C? 1 microfarad into potential difference, it is P minus 10. Right, that is Q, charge across this capacitor. Okay, so it is P minus 10. P minus 10 is the potential difference across this capacitor, plus next the potential difference here, it is P, and coming to this second capacitor is this one. P is greater potential I am considering, minus 30 into charge capacity over here will be 2 microfarad. Next, coming to the other one, plus P minus of minus 25, that is potential difference, and its capacity will be 2 microfarad. That is equal to 0. Go for this one. So instead of taking that sign conventions and getting confused, you can just use this simple method. Okay. So what I am doing, charge over this capacitor will be equal to C into V. What is its capacity? 1 microfarad. What is its potential difference? P minus 10. Next, coming to the second one, what is charge over here? 2 microfarad into, what is its potential difference? P minus 30. Next, coming to the third one, it is 2 microfarad into P minus of minus will become 25, right? This is equal to 0. Now I'll write down P minus 10 plus 2P minus 60 plus P, sorry, 2P, 2P minus of minus will become plus 50 is equal to 0. Now this become 2P plus 2P, 4P plus P, 5P, and minus 10 minus 60, that is minus 70, plus 50 is equal to 0. This gives you 5P minus 20 is equal to 0. And this gives you P is equal to 20 by 5, that is 4 volt. Right? So potential at this point P, it is 4 volt. We have calculated that. Take this 4 volt and substitute here. This gives you Q1. Q1 is equal to P 4 minus 10 minus 6. Minus 6, this micro as it is, minus 6 microcoulomb. That is across the first capacitor. See, first plate Q1 we have got negative. Check it up. Minus 6 as it is we have got. In the first plate we are taking this as minus Q1, right? That minus Q1 as it is we have got here. We are not taking sign convention when I am using Kirchhoff law. Without taking sign convention, I am finding out the potential difference. If you substitute the potential difference across this charge, you will be getting by default that sign. Whatever sign will be there for first capacitor, that sign by default you will be getting. Okay. So minus 6 microcoulomb. Next, coming to the second one, P is 4 volt. It is 2 into, this becomes minus 24, right? Minus 24 into 2, minus 48 microcoulomb. Next, coming to the third one, P plus 25. It is 25 plus 4, 29. 29 into 2. That is 2 9s 18. 2 2s 4 plus 1, 5. It is plus 58 microcoulomb. Okay. 58, am I right? Any mistake am I making? P is 4. 25 plus 4, 29. 29 into 2. 2 9s 18. 4 plus 1, 58. This is 58 microcoulomb. And in the second one, it is 4 minus 30. It is 26. I'm sorry. 26 into 2. 2 6 12. 2 2s are 4 plus 1, 52. Here it is 52. I'm sorry. That is 52, right? On the first capacitor plate, you can cross check this. On the first capacitor it is minus 6 microcoulomb. And on the second capacitor it is minus 52 microcoulomb, and on the third capacitor you are getting plus 58 microcoulomb. Overall, if you calculate net charge across these three capacitors, that should be equal to 0. Remember that. You can verify your answer. Sum of these all should be equal to 0. That is minus 6 microcoulomb, minus 52 microcoulomb, plus 58 microcoulomb. This should be equal to 0. Exactly valid. This is verified. So after calculating the charges, you can just verify them. Net charge across these all capacitors should be equal to 0. Okay. So that is how you can verify your final answers also. Coming to the next question. This is one simple model. We have capacitor plates. You are now supposed to find out equivalent capacitance between A and B. A is one potential point, B is another potential point, and you are connecting some n number of capacitors, n number of plates here. Okay, you should find out capacitance between any two plates. If capacitance between any two plates is C, that means capacitance between 1 and 2 is C, between 2 and 3 is C, between 3 and 4 is C. Like that, there are n number of capacitors. You should find out equivalent capacitance of each, equivalent capacitance of this total capacitors. Now see here, let me take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many plates are there here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 plates are there. Okay. And remember, this plate and this plate both are connected with each other. This plate and this plate both are connected with each other. Okay. So you can consider this total as one plate itself. Okay. You can consider the total as one plate. So I can redraw the circuit like this. One plate here, another plate here. because I am taking this whole two plates. These two plates, they are connected one with the other. So as a result, it is sharing. This plate is sharing some charge with the first capacitor plate and some charge with the second capacitor plate. So this plate, it is sharing some charge with the first capacitor plate and second capacitor plate. That is common. Okay, now it is reduced to how many plates? 3 plates. How many plates are there overall here? There are 3 plates, right? These 3 plates are making how many capacitors? It is number 1 and this is number 2. So 3 plates are making 2 capacitors, right? Okay, 3 plates make 2 capacitors. Likewise, I'll give you one more example. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many plates are there? 4 plates are there, right? Between these two, between these first 2 plates, there will be one capacity. Let me consider it as C1. Between these two, next 2 plates, let me consider its capacity is C2. Between these 2 plates, let me consider its capacity is C3. How many capacitor plates are there overall? 4 plates. But how many capacitors they are making? 3 capacitors. So 4 plates make 3 capacitors. Okay. Suppose 10 plates are there. 10 plates make how many capacitors? 9 capacitors. Fine. How many plates are there in this question? In this problem, in this circuit given over here, there are n number of plates. N plates are there. N plates make how many capacitors? N minus 1 capacitors it's make. Okay. N plates make n minus 1 capacitors. So how many capacitors are there here? In this overall, there are n minus 1 capacitors. Right? N minus 1 capacitors it is. Okay. So overall, I can write down conclusion as n plates joined with each other in series make n minus 1 capacitors. Okay, and remember, all between 2 plates capacity is mentioned as a C. Between any 2 plates capacity is C. So therefore 1 by C equivalent will be equal to capacity of the first plate 1 by C plus capacity of the second capacitor 1 by C plus 1 by C, so on like that. How many capacitors are there? N minus 1 divided by C. Okay, like that. How many capacitors are there? N minus 1 capacitors are there. So therefore overall, if you add these all, finally what do you get? It will be N minus 1 by C. So C equivalent will be equal to C divided by N minus 1. This is the equivalent capacity of these all capacitors which are connected in series with respect to each other. This is very simple problem to understand. Coming to one more question based on the same model which we have discussed before this. We have 4 capacitor plates, right? These 4 capacitors make definitely 3 capacitors. 4 plates make 3 capacitors. So it is first plate, this is second plate, this is third plate, and this is fourth plate. Okay, 4 plates make 3 capacitors. Now let me consider their capacity as I am considering their capacities as between these two. Let me consider it is capacity C1. Between these two, let me consider its capacity is C2. Between these 3, let me consider its capacity is C3. Okay. Now see, check it up. Plate 1 and plate 3, they are connected to potential A. Okay. So what is potential here? A. What is potential for this third capacitor? It is connected to A. Therefore potential at these 2 plates will be A. Likewise, we have this plate and this plate, they are connected to B. Therefore, potential here will be B, potential here will be B, right? Now I can take individual capacitors. See, first, this is one is connected to end A, the other end is connected to B. This is first capacitor. Take second capacitor. Second capacitor, its capacity is C2, and C2 is connected between what potentials? One is connected to A and the other one is connected to B. Coming to the third one, we have third one, C3. C3, one plate is at potential A, another plate is at potential B, right? One plate is A and one plate has potential B. Okay, now join these all individual capacitors. All these are connected to one terminal. Let me call it as A. All these are connected to another terminal. Let me consider it as B. Of course, all these areas are same and length is the same. Therefore, what is capacity of the first one? C will be equal to epsilon naught A divided by D. Length across all the plates will be same. So C1 is equal to C2 is equal to C3 is equal to epsilon naught A divided by D, right? And all these three capacitors are connected in parallel. As they are connected in parallel, what is the C effective? C1 plus C2 plus C3. This is equal to 3 times epsilon naught A by D. This is the effective capacitance of those three capacitors which are connected to potentials A and B. Let us solve one more example based on the same concept. With this, the concept will be clear. How to handle with these problems will be very clear to you. So we have how many plates? 4 plates we have. 4 plates make how many capacitors? 3 capacitors. First capacity, let it be C1. Second one, it is C2. Third one, it is C3. Okay. And all the capacitors area is the same and distance is also same. Therefore, C1 is equal to C2 is equal to C3 is equal to epsilon naught A divided by D. Because these are parallel plates, capacity of a parallel plate is equal to epsilon naught A by D. All are parallel plate capacitors. Therefore, for these capacities, it will be epsilon naught A by D. Right. Now, you identify the potentials of each capacitor plate. A is connected to this one, right? And this one. Therefore, what will be potential here? A. What will be potential here? A. Next, this is connected with B and this is also connected with B. Okay. Now, first capacitor C1, it is connected to points A and B. Okay. Second capacitor, it is connected to B and B. Check it up. Second one, C2, its first plate, one plate capacity potential is B. Another plate potential is also B. Therefore, there is no charge transfer here. Q transfer will be equal to 0 since delta V, potential difference, is equal to 0. As potential difference is equal to 0, there is no charge transferred over here. Therefore, C2 is useless. We will not consider this C2 because it is useless. Now coming to C3. C3, this is connected to point A and B, right? Okay. So this is C3. Now first capacitor and third capacitor both are connected to potentials AB. Therefore, these two are connected in parallel. This is also C1. Right, these two are connected in parallel, so C effective will be equal to C1 plus C3, which is equal to 2 times C is epsilon naught A divided by D. So C effective will be equal to epsilon naught to epsilon naught A by D. This is the final answer for finding effective capacitance of these plates. So remember, always when you are dealing with these kind of problems, so step 1, you should count how many number of plates are there, and remember that number of plates minus 1 gives you number of capacitors. 4 plates are there, 3 capacitors it make. 5 plates are there, 4 capacitors it make. 10 plates are there, 9 capacitors it make. And after finding how many capacitors are there, mark those capacitors as C1, C2, C3, C4, C5. How many number of capacitors are there? Those all capacitors values you write. C1, C2, C3, C4, C5 like that. After that, what you will do, if the plates area and distance is the same, then all their capacity will be equal. Therefore, we will be writing C1, C2, C3, all of them are equal to epsilon naught A by D. Suppose if any one area is varied and any one distance is varied, then you need to change that. So C1 will not be equal to C2 and that will not be equal to C3. And after that, mark the potentials of each capacitors. So first capacitor, it is connected to AB. Second capacitor may also be connected like that to some potentials. Mark those potentials, join those potentials. You can identify which are connected in series and which are connected in parallel, so that finally you can find out effective capacitance between the plates.